All right. Main event time. UFC 294 in the lightweight division. The belt is on the line in the rematch. Islam Makhachev taking on Alexander Volkanovski. It was supposed to be the rematch between Makhachev and Charles Oliveira. But Oliveira, as we know, he suffered a terrible gash on his eyebrow in his training camp just how many days ago? 12 days ago or something like that. And the UFC did their magic. They got on the phone, and Mr. Volkanovski stepping in and stepping up in the biggest way. So here we go. Makhachev, the 31-year-old champion out of Dagestan, 24-1 as a pro, riding a 12-fight professional win streak coming into this weekend. Of his 24 wins, 15 have been finishes, 11 of those submissions. Most recently, he got that UD over Volkanovski back in February of this year. Volkanovski, Alexander the Great, the 35-year-old out of Windang, New South Wales, Australia. He is 26-2 as a professional with 16 finishes, 13 of those knockouts. After dropping the decision to Makhachev back in February, he defended his featherweight title against Yair Rodriguez in July and finished El Pantera with punches in the third round. Didn't even need the championship rounds. So Volk was feeling it, and now he's getting right back in the ring, challenging for the 55 belt yet again against Makhachev. Here we go. I will go first without even seeing these odds. Guys, I'm going with field pick here. I think Volk gets it done, man. I think in their first matchup, I think Volk in certain spots showed Makhachev a little too much respect or a little too much caution. I think Volk steps on the gas a little bit more. And I'm going to say that Alexander Volkanovski hands the champ his second knockout loss. I think he's going to TKO him. I think he's going to hurt him and swarm him. And I think whoever's the ref, be it Herb or anybody else, is going to have to pull Volkanovski off of Makhachev. Give me Volkanovski. I'll say another, before it gets to the championship rounds, give me another third round TKO, double champ, Alexander the Great. We're going to be freaking out. That's my call. That's my pick. Mark, give us the odds and your pick.
All right, the odds. Islam Makhachev is the favorite, as you may expect. He is minus 260. Alexander Volkanovski is plus 210. Short notice, dude. You got to factor that in.
I guess. I think it's more than 2-1. I think it's
more
still
than
crazy.
I thought it was going to be. It's more than I thought. Volkanovski having a 2 to start his underdog odds is not something I expected to see.
Yeah.
But here we are. 4 inches of height for Islam, 1 inch of reach for Volk, because he is so damn long. Here's where I'm at for this fight. If this fight was truly booked ahead of time, both guys having camps, getting to prepare for the other guy again after having fought each other already, I would have picked Alexander Volkanovski. I don't feel nearly as good about it now, knowing that Volk is coming off the couch on only 10 days' notice. Not nearly as good about it. And you've heard him question his own cardio in some of these interviews. Not question it, but, he said things like, I'm sure my cardio will be there, but I'd rather finish it early and not find out. And that's not the kind of things you normally hear coming from Volk. So that concerns me a little bit. But where I'm at, as I was saying, is that I'd rather take the guy I was going to pick anyway and be wrong than not take him and have him win and know I didn't take it. So I am going to go with Alexander Volkanovski.
Wow.
I think the same thing Mike thinks, which is that in the first fight, Volk didn't push things the way he's capable of. You've heard interviews where he has said that he was surprised initially that Islam wasn't stronger and that he just assumed that Islam was saving it, and he chose to not push as much himself so he would be ready for that when Islam pushed. And then it never came. He said that the strength he felt from jump was the same strength he felt throughout, and that Islam was just not as strong of a guy as he expected him to be. So I think this time he will respect him less. maybe that's not the right word. Obviously, he respects him, but you know what I mean. Show him less respect than he did. Go in there expecting to finish him after what he did to him in round 5, and do just that. To circle back to the reality of the short notice fight that is in front of me here, it's possible he does push early because he knows the cardio may not be there, and that Islam survives that push, and then this gets ugly for Volk late. That's 100% possible. Also, is it possible that Volk isn't as strong this time in comparison, considering last time he had a long build-up to get his body to 155, and this time he was planning to fight Ilia Topuria in a few months? Yes, also 100% possible, and maybe that affects how well he can deal with Makhachev's grappling. So Islam could easily hang right with him for a couple early competitive rounds and then take this fight over and win rounds more clearly than he did in the last fight, and end up winning this one. And I picked Islam last time. I scored it for him last time. All that. But I've just had this feeling that if they fought again, Volk would put him out. And as much as I hate the whole short notice deal fucking that up for me, I'm not going to risk it happening and me not having picked it. So I am also going with Alexander Volkanovski by round 3 TKO.
Wow. All right, Omar, take us home.
Well, I think with the fans that we get for Islam Makhachev, the Makhachev crew, and I think we're gonna get some shit for this pick here.
Did we just lose Omar?
I am also going Alexander Volkanovski here.
Oh my gosh.
I am.
Oh man, they're gonna hate us in the comments.
Yeah.
Dude,
this one's
we're gonna get.
It's gonna be a rough week.
Especially if he loses.
Especially if he loses, we're gonna get fucking destroyed.
Dude, yeah. If Volk loses, you mean?
Yes.
If Volk gets like rear naked choked in the second round or something, it's gonna be bad.
Here's my thing. There were a lot bigger moments for Volk in the first fight than there were for Islam. I think where Islam was able to edge out that fight was in control, and I think control only. I thought a lot of the damage and the striking and a lot of the things that made that fight for me seem like Volk had won had come from the bigger moments in that fight that again I thought came from Volk. So
yeah.
I think he needs to make a couple of small adjustments. I actually think all of these little circumstances probably work to Volk's favor. This is feeling very much like Bisbing and Rockhold all over again. You know what I mean? It's giving me those vibes. And what does it mean that Volk wasn't in training camp? It means that Volk wasn't getting his ass beat on the daily, at least not to the extent that he would be in a training camp. It means that his mind has been nice and clear because he's been chilling with his family. He hasn't been worrying about anything. He hasn't been like completely obsessed with anything. His body should be healthy. I think the biggest issue he's going to have to compete against right now is going to be that weight cut, because I think he's got like 20 plus pounds he's got to get off before tomorrow.
Jesus.
So
Friday, right?
Yeah. Oh, Friday, right? Tomorrow. It's officially Thursday.
When people
now,
are watching this, it will be Thursday. Yeah.
Right. But Friday is obviously the day he's going to have all that done by. So there are a couple of things that he's going to need to get through. But I think the fight itself against Islam, I think he had a handle on it in the first fight, and I think he made a lot of mistakes, a lot of small mistakes that cost him the fight. But I don't think it's anything that especially somebody like Volkanovski can't make the adjustment for at this point. So I am going to go with Volkanovski. I had him in the first fight. I'm going to have him in this fight. I think he takes the decision.
Dude, I really thought... I mean, I wanted to go first because I thought I was going to be alone.
I thought I was going to be alone, too. And then when you said it, I was like, oh, shit. That's my take.
Yeah.
Wow. Can't believe that. Well, look, I think we took every other person from that part of the world. Makhachev,
Yes.
Saeed, Alaskarov, Ankalaev, Chimaev.
Yeah.
We didn't go with Makhachev.
This would be a good card to do like an all Dagestan parlay, because a lot of those matchups I feel really favor the Russians.
And if we're being fair, I probably would have picked Makhachev over Oliveira at this point. I'm sure Mark would not have.
My heart wouldn't have allowed it.
But I was prepared to pick Makhachev over Oliveira. So I think for me, this is purely a Volkanovski thing.
Mm-hmm. All right,
it's
boys.
It's going to be interesting, boys. It's going to be interesting.
I don't